Welcome to Clay Center Now. I'm Shannon Stark, Director of Clay Center Area Chamber of Commerce, and today I have Mike Carney with me talking about the Clay County Park located in Wakefield, Kansas. Welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your position with the park and how long you've been there and how it kind of all came about.
Well, for starters, let's see, my wife and I, we camped there for years and met the park managers, past ones over the years and everything, and I always kind of thought, well, this would be a neat job. And well, when the opportunity came available, I applied for it. So Clay County hired me as a park manager back in 2015. I started January 1, and that was my first summer. And boy, did I not know there was that much grass to mow. So it's I'm completing my 4th summer down there now.
So this summer just wrapped up. So what? And you said you started January 1. What is the camping season that the campers are available to have spots?
The Clay County leases the ground from the Corps of Engineers, and under our lease agreement, we can open the grounds March 1st. I don't technically have to close until the end of November. That being said, a lot of that depends on the water, or the weather, temperatures, and whether or not I have water on.
Gotcha.
So we do have one area of the park we refer to as a pipeline section that has sewer hookup. That water does stay on year round. So I can put hunters, we'll have some spring hunters or some fall hunters, which I'm supposed to be having a couple coming in next month.
Cool, very good. So tell us a little bit about the history of the park. I know you said you've been there 4 seasons now. Before that, you know, when did it all start and come about?
Milford Lake they started development, if I remember correctly, I believe in 1965. 1967 is when the Clay County Park was developed. We celebrated 50 years last year, Milford Lake and the Clay County Park. We threw a really big celebration for all that. But as far as now, the other parks have been developed around the lake as the years have gone on.
But really, Clay County is an original park. Since the lake has been there, there's been a park, and it's located right. Is it in the city limits of Wakefield, or is it?
We're next to, basically, we're across the street from each other.
Right.
So it's a part of the community down there as well.
Yeah. And how many acres?
We have, it's developed on 88 acres. We have 267 campsites.
Very good. So pretty big area there. Good. So most of your sites filled?
Most of our campsites, we've got 200 that are seasonals, and then we have 67 that we use as what we refer to as transit. Some will refer to them as weekend warriors, folks that pass through the area, place for them to stay. But for the most part, we stay relatively full throughout the summer season. Our seasonal program runs from April 1st to the end of September. So our campers are there through that time.
Very good. And my parents camp down there, and there's always something going on. So is that, as the manager, the park manager, is that your responsibility to find all of those events, or is it kind of organizations come to you looking for things to do, or how does all that work? A little bit of both?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of both. The city of Wakefield, you know, they brought back their birthday bash, which hadn't been done for years. And they had seen some things that I was doing down there, and I tried to bring in live entertainment on the holiday weekends. One, it's an attraction to draw your parents to, you know, oh my gosh, we've got to go that weekend. You know, to provide something for the folks to do on a longer weekend, per se.
Yeah.
So the city of Wakefield, you know, kind of has been following some of that with me, and we've been working together on some of that. But they seem to always, be amazed at some of the things that I do pull off down there.
Yeah, yeah. There's always live music, karaoke, and some benefit stuff too. I think that some organizations come in and do some stuff. So that's very good. What else, history-wise, has happened down at the park? Is there anything?
History-wise, one of the fondest things I think that I've learned from when I took over this position and meeting the families would be how long some of these families have been there. We have one family their last name's Haas. They're out of the St. Joe, Missouri area. They've been there, if I remember correctly, I think 44, 45 years.
Wow.
So they started there when they were kids, when we didn't have all the camping now. So, as large as it is anyways, so the stories that they tell, and then meeting some of the other families with, their history of how long they've been there as well.
Yeah.
So
it just becomes like a family tradition. It's what they do during that season, and very cool. Cool. Yeah, and with having that many sites, I'm sure you have a lot of families that have been there for many years. And I mean, how long have you guys camped there?
We've been there, I believe, 13 years now.
Yeah, so even in 13 years, how many memories you have down at the campgrounds and being at the lake and everything. So our county's lucky to have such a nice park and able to do that and bring some out-of-towners in as well. So very good. We will be back right after this.
Count on our team at Eagle for reliable internet, TV, and phone, because keeping you connected is what we do. Eagle Communications, our community connected. Count on our team at Eagle for business class phone, internet, and technology solutions, because keeping your business connected is what we do. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Welcome back. I'm Shannon Stark with Clay Center Area Chamber of Commerce, and today I have Mike Carney, manager of the Clay County Park, with me today. In our last segment when you were talking, you said you didn't realize how much grass that was to mow when you took on this position. Talk about the maintenance of the park a little bit and what that looks like for you.
Over the years, watching the other park managers and the way the grounds were maintained and everything, and I did not realize there was that much grass. So I decided that I wanted to do something a little different, because when you look forward all week long to coming down on the weekend, the last thing you want to hear is us running around on mowers.
Right.
So I switched our mowing days, and with the weather permitting and everything, we start on Wednesday, and we do all of our open areas around the outside and everything, and we do all of our trim work for the most part. And then on Thursdays, we mow around every one of those campers. So I always joke and say I'm working on my tan, because we get a lot of sunlight.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
and there's a lot more to maintain as well. You have to maintain every site. Some have a concrete area, some don't. Some have fire pits. Do they all come with fire pit, or how is that?
No, the fire pit is optional. Believe it or not, we have some folks that don't care for campfires. And so if it's not one that's being utilized, we'll pull the ring and we'll clean the ground up and everything. Most of we do have quite a few sites that need their concrete pads replaced. Then we have some that need them, period. We try to accommodate as best we can right now with what funds we do have to work with. This year we replaced 30 of our picnic tables, which doesn't sound like many when you're dealing with 267, but it's a start.
Right.
So, we have fire rings available, so, if somebody needs one for the weekend or whatever, we'll run around and get what we can. And
yeah, but that's really nice. You provide a picnic table as well as a fire pit for each site. Yeah, that's good that they, you know, that's there for them and ready to go. So
We have quite a few down there that'll share.
yeah,
So, you know, their fire ring and stuff.
right, which is fun. That just makes it more exciting for the weekend. Yeah, very good. And talking about maintenance, you have employees that help you.
I do. I have during the summer, during our seasonal part from April 1st to the end of September, I have two that help me. One helps me with our shower houses and mowing. The other one helps with the mowing and then helps me do some of the minor maintenance and things. You know, they work their time, but when they're done, you know, there's a lot of stuff that still has to be done. So, you know, any of the plumbing or the electrical and things like that,
Yeah,
I still try to get everything taken care of.
yeah. So talking about the shower houses, you own the county owns the shower houses as well.
Correct.
Gotcha. And then what about the boat docks that are right there?
The boat docks are ours. Those are Clay County.
I didn't realize that. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of folks have, you know, referred to it, and a lot of it's been because, you know, it's been part of Wakefield for years, but it's the Wakefield boat dock. It's the Clay County part boat
Gotcha.
dock. So we did, 2 years ago, we did rebuild the big one, all brand new floats, new decking and everything, and then last year we got the smaller one completed, and this winter I'll be working on a trailer for that one, so that we can remove them to maintain them so that they don't, you know, get damaged in the wintertime.
In the weather, yeah.
In the weather, so.
Good, very good. And then also across from where the sites are, is there tent camping available there?
We do have tent camping available.
And do people have to call in and reserve for that, or is it kind of open?
We have some that do call and reserve for the holiday weekend, or holiday weekends, and then we have some that show up, and it is a rather small area that everybody just makes the best of it, and that is something that is on my to-do list that eventually I'd like to add, you know, some fixtures up there and kind of, you know, separate it out a little bit so that you have more of a site to yourself. Right now it's just kind of one big area.
Yeah, cool. So the playground as well, is that the county's?
That, yeah, and we redid that last year actually, made the perimeter of it a little bit larger, and then we had mulch in there, and the mulch had kind of deteriorated over the years, so we replaced it with rock.
Nice.
And it's a small, rather pebble type rock, and added a couple new playground pieces to it as well.
Very nice, yeah. I know that my nephews enjoy playing up there at the park. As soon as we get down to the campgrounds, they say, can we go to the park? So that's really nice for that to be there. So you have a lot to maintain, not just mow grass.
Oh, yeah.
You got a lot going on, so very good. We'll be right back after this.
Count on our team at Eagle for digital, radio, and TV advertising, because keeping your business connected is what we do. Eagle Communications, our community, connected. Count on our team at Eagle for reliable internet, TV, and phone, because keeping you connected is what we do. Eagle Communications, our community, connected.
Welcome back. I'm Shannon Stark with Clay Center Area Chamber of Commerce, and I have Mike Carney, manager of Clay County Park, here with me today. So we were talking about everything that you kind of have to maintain there at the park, and something I just thought of was the fishing area, where all the fishermen can clean their fish after a day on the lake. You said that gets pretty busy?
Mid-spring, when the fishing really gets to going, and then on whenever the fishing is right, there's days that we can actually empty that wagon 2-3 times a day, especially on weekends.
Yeah.
You know, everybody gets the weekend off, they're out there fishing, and so yeah, it can keep us pretty busy.
Nice.
We're just dealing with that.
Good. So talking about that and how that, you know, keeps you busy, you obviously wouldn't exist without the lake. So how does the lake affect your business? And
well, Milford Lake's, you know, it's the largest lake in the state of Kansas, man-made lake. 163 miles of shoreline. There's a billboard down on I-70 that advertises the Blue Cat capital of Kansas. It is very well known for blue cat fishing.
Yeah.
So that draws a lot of folks in. And coincidentally, saying that, I had a couple that came from Nebraska, and they drove all the way down here, and I don't remember what the town was they lived in, but they had some flooding or something going on, and they decided that this was a weekend for them to go, and so they drove all the way down here because they had heard people talk about blue cats down here at Milford. So we draw a lot of folks in from actually all over the United States. It amazes me, some of the people that pass through. I have a couple coming in, well, no, they should be here next week actually, and they're from Washington State.
Cool.
So they come through here every summer. They come through for a week or two, but other than that, the lake itself in general is beautiful for boating, any kind, just recreation, hanging out at the beaches and just cruising. We have the 2 marinas on the lake. Acorn Resorts across the lake has their restaurant over there now, so there's a lot of activities on the water that folks can do as well.
Very good. And talking about looking into the future, do you have any future plans for the park? You talked a little bit about the tent area, kind of focusing on that, and then for the docks you wanted to get a trailer to get it out of the water and stuff, but anything else going on?
Well, there's always room for improvement. Unfortunately, it's always funding that boils down to. However, this winter, one of the projects that we are going to complete, which due to the flooding that we have going on currently, has kind of delayed some of the stuff. But anyways, we have one section, it's our largest section down there, that's still 30 amp service. We are going to upgrade that to 50 amp service. When these sites were developed back then, this is one of the oldest sections, and so they used PVC pipe, and so we have a lot of issues with lines that break and everything. So that's another thing we're going to do is get those upgraded as well. So we actually have some PEX plumbing in there and some water hydrants and everything. So kind of get that upgraded. And 50 amp, meaning they'll be able to actually, some campers are equipped with 2 air conditioners nowadays, and they'll be able to run that. Right now, they can't. So that's another big project that we'll be doing this winter.
Gotcha. That'll be nice on a 100-degree day out there. Yeah. Very good. And future plans as well. You talked about the docks and stuff, and I was just thinking, like, all that parking, you're in charge of all that gravel and all that. That's probably a lot to maintain as well.
This we drag it every now and then to do the maintenance on that, as far as keeping it looking nice. And that was another thing I'd forgot about, that we'd started this year. It's not completed yet, but we did an extension on our rock jetty we refer to next to the ramp area, which provides, once we get it completed, it'll provide a safer unloading and loading area down there at our boat ramp. Again, there's always things to do.
Yeah, it never ends. Yeah.
No.
Well, and talking about the flooding, how's that? Is it almost every season that at some point it floods, or I mean, you guys seem to be in a pretty low area.
It seems to be. Unfortunately, that's the lake was designed for flood control. As frustrating as it is when you're dealing with the flooding coming in, causing any damage to the grounds. When water goes back down, you've got electrical boxes that have got to be, disassembled and cleaned, and new breakers reinstalled.
But for the most part, it seems to affect the docking area more than the camping area. No.
No, it comes up into the park.
It comes up into the camps. Okay.
Yep, it comes up into the park, and so when it goes down, we all get together and And it is, you know, like it's one big family down there, so
Yeah.
everybody's always willing to lend a hand and or a piece of equipment if they have it, you know, and we get everything cleaned back up and do a
Good.
little reseeding, and grass comes back and everything looks good.
Good. I like that. It's one big family down there. I definitely agree. Everybody down there is like family. So, well, thank you for being here today. We learned a lot about the park, and take your time and go visit Clay County Park when you're on your Sunday cruise or anything. It's a really neat area to see, so you should go check it out. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.